police investigate a shooting on Athens' west side. General Motors is downsizing again, closing 4 more plants, including one in Ohio. And in sports, it was a great weekend to be a Bobcat, with 3 Ohio teams picking up victories. Newswatch starts right now.
Broadcasting live from WOUB TV in Athens, this is Newswatch.
New details are emerging after a shooting in Athens yesterday. Good evening, I'm Caitlin Coolidge. Thanks for joining us. Athens police are investigating the fatal shooting of a man on the city's west side. Officers were dispatched to an apartment on West Washington Street just before 10 a.m. yesterday morning. Police found the 55-year-old male victim in the second-floor apartment with a fatal gunshot wound. On the 911 recording from the incident, a woman who was with the victim says the suspect shot through the door. Authorities still have not released the victim's identity. Police are not saying if this was a drug-related crime, but neighbors say there was drug activity in the area. When we contacted the Athens Police Department today, they refused to offer any other details. But WOUB News was told that police were at an apartment on West Union Street this morning seeking a suspect. This video was posted on Facebook by Tim B. McVeigh. We will continue to update this story online at woub.org as more information is released. A Catholic priest from Gloucester will appear in court tomorrow. Henry Foxhoven was a Catholic priest in the Diocese of Steubenville. He faces 3 counts of sexual battery. Prosecutor Kelly Blackburn says Foxhoven is accused of engaging in sexual contact with a minor female from August to October of this year. No one will be prosecuted after an inmate and staff members of a Southern Ohio prison were exposed to drugs. The prosecutor says investigators could not figure out how the drugs got into the facility in August. The drug was a mix of heroin and fentanyl, but Ross County prosecutors Matt Schmidt says the inmate who was treated told investigators the fan in his cell blew white powder into the air when it was turned on. Gas prices in Southern Ohio have been dropping the last few weeks. According to AAA's East Central Gas Price Report, South Central Ohio's average price for gas was $2.29 this week. That's down from the week before when it was $2.40 and lower than this week's national average of $2.56. A new store is one step closer to coming to East State Street in Athens. Menards has applied for state building permits. According to information submitted to the state, the main building would cost more than $6 million to build, plus more than $9,000 for a lumber storage building.
Well, it is chilly today, and it's still chilly out there right now. 36 in Athens. The pressure is at 29.7 inches and rising as that low pressure moves out of the area, but the humidity is still high at 93% as those rain showers are moving out of the area. All across the area, temperatures are in the upper 30s and upper 30s, 36 all across the area other than New Lexington and Columbus. We're seeing snow showers off to the west and rain showers off to the east as that cold front makes its way across the area. Now the highlights for the next couple of days: rain changing to snow tonight, clearing out tomorrow and throughout your midweek. And there might be a weekend warm-up in store. We'll talk all about that coming up in my full forecast in the next couple of minutes. Caitlin, are you ready to see a weekend warm-up?
I guess I wouldn't mind for a little bit of a warm-up. I do like me some snow. Thanks, Nick. Production at 4 General Motors plants are set to end this spring, one of the factories that will close in Lordstown, Ohio. It's all part of an initiative to invest more money into self-driving electric vehicles. Incoming Governor Mike DeWine says he plans on meeting with GM officials after he takes office in January. The factory already lost 2 of its 3 shifts and 3,000 union jobs since last year. The EPA may have to inspect nearly 4,000 wells in West Virginia. A lawyer for the West Virginia Surface Owners' Rights Organization says drilling companies are transferring wells to other companies instead of plugging them. Dave McCon says he wants the EPA to look at these wells, but the company that operates the wells in the Appalachian Basin says they returned more than 500 wells into production over the past 18 months. Ohio has seen a spike in hepatitis A cases this year. More than 900 cases have been documented, a big jump from the few dozen the past couple of years. One death was reported in Montgomery County and many others hospitalized. Hepatitis A is an inflammation of the liver that causes low appetite, stomach pain, and jaundice. It spreads through the close contact with infected individuals and fecal matter. STDs are also on the rise, especially in Appalachian communities. Matt Pryor, a spokesperson for the National Coalition of STD Directors, says there are increasing numbers of syphilis cases and other STD outbreaks associated with the opioid crisis. But Pryor says public health budget dedicated to testing, prevention, and other public outreach are being cut.
Actually, a failure of the public health system and a failure of our nation. We should not see mothers and children dying, essentially very easily treatable, identifiable diseases.
Pryor says the STDs have increased by 30% in the last 5 years, while federal money for prevention and education has gone down since 2003. Ohio is now the first in the country to allow businesses to pay taxes with Bitcoin. Bitcoin is a form of electronic cash and businesses would pay through the third-party processor, BitPay. The Bitcoin fee will be 1% compared to the 2.5% charge for businesses paying with credit cards. It's uncertain how many Ohio businesses will sign up to use Bitcoin. Ohio lawmakers are trying to prevent local governments from putting fees on plastic bags. Several U.S. cities have been banned or fee on plastic and paper bags to reduce landfill input. But Ohio Republicans who back the bill say the state should decide on a ban or fee to avoid a patchwork of laws from one city to another. But Elisa Yoderman with the Sierra Club says cities should have the right to decide for themselves.
Community level, a partnership between private businesses, local entities, and community members really deciding what their problem issues are, how it needs to be tackled.
The bill is scheduled for a committee hearing and possible vote later this month. The deadly California wildfires are finally contained, but residents and first responders now face new threats. Plus, dozens were arrested at the U.S.-Mexico border, but some are saying it was an overuse of force. That story when Newswatch returns.
WOUB is member-supported public television. Your contribution keeps WOUB available in your community. Become a member with a gift of $60 or more for access to stream more than 1,000 of your favorite PBS programs through WOUB Passport. Programs like Nature, Sherlock, and all episodes of Downton Abbey and Victoria. Pledge now at woub.org. And thank you.
This is a box that showed you a world beyond your own. It was just a box, but the world has changed, and so have we. And now the box can be almost any size or shape. And you decide what you want to explore. Anytime, any place. Break out of the box with PBS.
I'm such a huge fan of PBS. For my entire life, it's been our window into a world of the arts that isn't available anywhere else on TV. We learn about our numbers and our letters and singing through music, through the incredible children's programming they have. And then we grow up and we get to see the world of the arts, whether it's ballet or opera or Broadway, and so many other amazing moments that you wouldn't get anywhere else except for PBS.
I loved Ken Burns' series on the Civil War. It was deeply impacting. I love history. To have those stories told through these letters, through stories of love and loss, it rewrote the book on how to tell a story. When television was invented, there were a lot of people who had dreams about what it could do. I think PBS still aspires for and often succeeds at reaching the highest ideals of what television could be.
Dozens of migrants were arrested on both sides of a U.S.-Mexico border Sunday. Kristen Holmes reports how the clash has been met with opinions on both sides in Washington.
Tension on the southern border. as thousands of Central American migrants seeking asylum in the U.S. hope to enter the country through Mexico. An escalation Sunday. Border Patrol agents firing tear gas at migrants, including women and children, after a protest devolved into chaos. Wow! Hundreds of migrants overwhelming Mexican police and blockades, attempting to enter the country illegally.
The group immediately started throwing rocks and debris at our agents, taunting the agents. And we had 2 or 3 agents at a time initially facing hundreds of people at a time. They deployed tear gas to protect themselves and to protect the border.
No one wants any border officer to be in danger, but from what we know, this was an overuse of force. I mean, there are women and children out there. Using tear gas in this situation does not seem justified.
U.S. officials arresting dozens, shutting down the busiest port of entry along its Mexico border. President Trump seizing on the unrest.
Mexico wants to see if they can get it straightened out, but we've, during certain times, as you know, closed the border. They're not coming into the United States. They will not be coming in.
But not all Republicans support a border shutdown.
We would prefer that we keep it open, so let's work really hard to make sure we're addressing the asylum seekers before they actually come over the border.
In Washington, I'm Kristen Holmes reporting.
Meanwhile, in Washington, President Donald Trump reiterated his call for Congress to fund the construction of a border wall. Former Trump campaign advisor George Papadopoulos is starting his 14-day prison sentence today. Papadopoulos was convicted of lying to federal investigators in the Russian probe. In addition to his 2-week prison sentence, Papadopoulos must pay a $9,500 fine, serve a year probation, and do 200 hours of community service. The Dallas police officer accused of shooting a man in his own apartment is in court today. Amber Geyer was in court for an evidence hearing. She was arrested on a manslaughter charge 3 days after the fatal shooting of Botham Jean. Geyer claims she fired thinking someone was inside her apartment, but she was at the wrong unit. The wildfire that burned more than 150,000 acres in Northern California is now fully contained. The fire killed at least 85 people and is now considered to be California's deadliest fire. More than 500 buildings and 13,000 homes were destroyed. But even though the fires are contained, Jim McKenson of the U.S. Forest Service says threats still remain.
Power lines that are still down, there's trees that are still down, there's branches that are going to come down, culverts that are washed out in the roadway. So there's just going to be a tremendous amount of hazards. And we have more rain coming in later this week, it sounds like.
The campfire started November 8th near the town of Pulga. Nearly 250 people in Northern California are still unaccounted for. A Florida woman is dead and 5 others hurt when a distracted driver drove into a group of bicyclists yesterday morning. 53-year-old Denise Marsh was pronounced dead on the scene. Police say the driver was not texting or using her phone, and they do not know what the driver was distracted by. Police also say there are no designated police bicycle lanes in the area. A Chinese scientist claims he has created the world's first babies to be resistant to HIV. The claims have not yet been independently verified or peer-reviewed. The scientist is a professor at Southern University of Science and Technology in Shenzhen. But the university denounced the alleged work and said the researcher has been on leave from the school since February. This year's Cyber Monday is predicted to be record-breaking. That story is still ahead.
And weather-wise, rain will change to snow tonight, but a warm-up is in store for the weekend. We'll talk all about that coming up in my full forecast, but first, a look at stocks of local interest.
WOUB is member-supported public television. Your contribution keeps WOUB available in your community. Become a member with a gift of $60 or more for access to stream more than 1,000 of your favorite PBS programs through WOUB Passport. Programs like Nature, Sherlock, and all episodes of Downton Abbey and Victoria. Pledge now at woub.org. And thank you.
I love PBS because at the heart of everything PBS does is education.
I use PBS not only in my home, but also in my classroom.
It's kind of the idea of being the great equalizer for learning and for education.
I'm a lifelong learner, and PBS has always been part of that journey for me.
I love PBS because PBS supports teachers.
They know what works for kids and what's best for kids, and that's why I love PBS.
What are you doing?
Possibilities. Your day is filled with them.
Reach up, energy in the fingertips, collapse. TV, play Downton Abbey.
And PBS helps everyone discover theirs. Anytime, anywhere.
Up in the sky, you can see it.
PBS, we're with you for life.
PBS had a special on Pearl Harbor, and once Landon started watching the show about the Arizona, he completely became fascinated.
That's Donald Stratton, and that's me.
And then his Christmas wish this year was to meet Donald Stratton, one of the survivors from the Arizona.
So good to see you, buddy.
Everything that Landon has learned from PBS, it's immeasurable.
This is for you.
Thank you, big guy.
He is living proof of the effect that PBS has had on his life.
Thanksgiving weekend is over, but many Americans in the Midwest are still waiting for a ride home. A winter storm grounded hundreds of flights yesterday and is expected to head northeast this week. Omar Jimenez reports.
One of the busiest travel days of the year was short a lot of travel. Winter weather turning the return from Thanksgiving into chaos.
Crazy backed up lines, people insane, people fighting to get in line, and everybody miserable. And the flight attendants and the ticket agents, bless their heart, they're trying, but they're miserable too.
At one point, more than 10 million people across the Midwest faced blizzard warnings. And on Sunday, more than 1,500 flights were canceled, with delays to more than 5,000, the vast majority in Kansas City and Chicago.
I want to call on everybody to be extremely neighborly, to check on anybody who is physically impaired in any way, or anybody that's obviously facing their own health challenges at this moment.
Chicago's O'Hare International Airport alone saw more than 800 cancellations Monday, with delays averaging close to an hour. But the problems weren't just limited to air travel. In Kansas, the governor declared a state of emergency, saying, "We strongly recommend that you postpone travel plans if possible."
The roadways are blocked, traffic jams, jackknife semis, things like that. I'm telling you now, today is a day of staying home and being safe.
Elsewhere in the Midwest, some places reported more than a foot of snow, with wind gusts in the Central Plains clocking as high as 50 to a hurricane-force 75 miles per hour. Travel conditions are expected to improve as the system moves out of the region, but now it heads to a slightly warmer northeast in the form of wind and rain. I'm Omar Jimenez reporting.
Well, we can be thankful for not seeing that type of weather here, although we will be seeing a little bit of snow. Hi, everybody. I'm forecaster Nicholas Snyder. 36 right now in Athens. Pressure's at 29.7 inches and rising as that area of low pressure is moving out of the area. Humidity at 93% as those rain showers continue to move through. Winds are out of the west-southwest at 12 miles an hour. We're seeing some snowflakes. Pretty much Athens and west, we're seeing that snowflakes as we take a look at the big temperature map. 36 pretty much everywhere you go except for the 234s in New Lexington and Columbus. Snow off to the west, rain off to the east. Watch out as that cold front moves on through for the rain change to snow later on tonight. It's all due to this low pressure off to our north and east. That will continue to move off to the north and east. This cold front's going to change all of that rain to snow, but we'll talk about that in just a second. But first, we'll get you through tonight. 30 tonight in Athens. Evening snow, cloudy after midnight. Winds will be out of the northwest at 5 to 10 miles an hour. Bring a jacket if you're going out and about tonight, as it will be quite chilly this evening. All across the area, temperatures will be in the upper 20s and lower 30s. 26 in Jackson, 29 in Chillicothe, 26 in Columbus, 28 in Newark, 29 in Cambridge, 30 in New Martinsville and Marietta, and as well here in Athens. Rain will change to snow. And later on through the night, the snow will clear out after midnight. but snow will be back in the forecast tomorrow. 30 degrees, a chance of snow, cloudy elsewhere. We're going to have scattered snow showers. Lake effect snow will come off of Lake Michigan, so we're going to have scattered snow showers. So if you're under one of those snow showers, you may pick up a quick dusting to maybe an inch. We're not likely to see that much snow. Very little accumulation, if any. Winds will be out of the west at 5 to 10 miles an hour all across the area. Temperatures will be in the upper 20s and lower 30s. Look at this, 29 in Columbus. This is the coldest air we've seen all season. Make sure you're grabbing a jacket as you're going out and about for work tomorrow. 29 in Newark, 31 in Cambridge, 31 in New Martinsville, 31 in Marietta, 30 here in Athens, 31 in Ripley. And again, all due to that low pressure moving off to the north and east. It'll stir up a couple of lake effect snow showers off of Lake Erie and Lake Michigan. We're not going to see that much, but if you're traveling up toward Cleveland, they could be possibly seeing upwards of 8 to 10 to maybe even a foot of snow, especially in the far northeastern portions of the state. So make sure you're wary of that as you're traveling later on this week, as I should say. Again, there's that snow showers. High pressure will move on in, and that will clear us out for your Wednesday as we take a look at the extended forecast. 41 on Thursday. Look at this warm-up coming in for the weekend, though. 49 on Friday, 53 on Saturday with rain showers likely, and 53 on Sunday as well with a possible chance of rain. 48 on Monday with rain possible as well. So a much warmer weekend is ahead, and good weekend to go out and get some Christmas shopping done. Caitlin?
That is true. A really good time to put up some Christmas lights, get all that stuff done before it may get even a little colder. All right. Thanks, Nick. All right, well, this year's Cyber Monday is on track to be record-breaking. Adobe Analytics is predicting 2018 sales will generate nearly $8 billion in sales, an increase of more than 17% from last year. The analytics also reported more customers purchasing items online, but then picking them up in stores. That trend contributed to a record nearly $7 billion spent online Friday. That's about a 24% increase from last year.
I'm Noah Wolf. While you were at home this weekend enjoying your turkey dinner, the Bobcat women's basketball, men's basketball, and football teams were all in action. We'll catch you up. Plus, one area high school team is still alive in the playoffs. Will the Trimble Tomcats continue their quest for the state title? Find out after the break. And stay tuned to WOUB. Here's a look at what's coming up tonight on your public television station.
Is a box that showed you This is a box that showed you a world beyond your own. It was just a box, but the world has changed, and so have we. And now the box can be almost any size or shape. And you decide what you want to explore. Anytime, any place. Break out of the box with PBS.
I'm such a huge fan of PBS. For my entire life, it's been our window into a world of the arts that isn't available anywhere else on TV. We learn about our numbers and our letters and singing through music, through the incredible children's programming they have. And then we grow up and we get to see the world of the arts, whether it's ballet or opera or Broadway, and so many other amazing moments that you wouldn't get anywhere else except for PBS.
WOUB is member-supported public television. Your contribution keeps WOUB available in your community. Become a member with a gift of $60 or more for access to stream more than 1,000 of your favorite PBS programs through WOUB Passport. Programs like Nature, Sherlock, and all episodes of Downton Abbey and Victoria. Pledge now at WOUB.org. And thank you.
Welcome back. I'm Noah Wolf. On Saturday, the Ohio men's basketball team returned home from their 2-loss trip to Jamaica. They look to get back to the win column with a game against Austin Peay. Things started off great for Ohio. They opened the game on an 8-1 run and would lead 42-28 going into halftime. In the second half, however, Austin Peay came roaring back. The Governors outscored Ohio 14-5 to open the second period and to put themselves right back in the contest before eventually forcing overtime. The Governors started off hot in overtime with 2 quick baskets, but the Bobcats would score 8 unanswered points to claim the victory 85-82. Ohio's Jason Carter had a game-high 25 points and 10 rebounds for a double-double. Tavion Kirk, Gavin Block, and Antonio Cowart also scored in double figures. The Bobcats are back in the Convocation Center tomorrow night against Iona. Tip-off at 7 p.m. While the men's team just barely clawed their way back into the win column, Ohio women's basketball has been there all season long. This weekend, they traveled to Colorado for the Denver Thanksgiving Classic and picked up 2 more victories, improving to 5-0 on the young season. Their first was on Friday with a 17-point win over St. Bonaventure. Athens native Dominique Dosick led all scorers with 19 points in that contest, with Gabby Burris and Cece Hooks not far behind. On Saturday, the Bobcats defeated Lamar by 25 points thanks to a double-double from Burris. 4 other Bobcats also scored in double figures: Hooks, Dosick, Amani Burke, and Deesh Beck. The Bobcats will take a well-deserved break, not returning to action until this Saturday with a home game against Cleveland State. Tip-off at 1 p.m. Completing the trifecta of Ohio teams picking up victories this weekend, Ohio football made quick work of the Akron Zips in Peden Stadium on Friday. It all started on Ohio's first drive, which was 5 plays for 80 yards, capped off by this A.J. Olette touchdown run to put the Bobcats up 7-0. On its next drive, Ohio was faced with 4th and goal situation, but Nathan Rourke kept it himself to double the advantage, 14-0 at this point. Kylan Nelson extends the Bobcat lead to 21 points with this 37-yard punt return touchdown on his way to being named MAC East Special Teams Player of the Week. While Akron would score a few times, it was definitely all Ohio as the Bobcats win their regular season finale 48-21. They finished the season 8-4 and will await their bowl assignment when it's released in the next few weeks. Elsewhere, and Trimble High School is in the midst of a deep playoff run, and their latest test was Cuyahoga Heights in the state semifinals. Cuyahoga Heights opened the scoring with this pass from Sam Schaefer to Jason Bartosik, and they lead it 7-0 early on. A few drives later, Trimble gets on the board thanks to the senior Max Hooper, who runs it 46 yards to the end zone. This game is tied at 7. On the Tomcats' next drive, it's another monster run from Hooper. 63 yards to give Trimble its first lead of the game, 14-7. Right before halftime, though, Schaefer finds Braden DeSanza, and Cuyahoga Heights ties the game at 14. Now, Cam Kittle's quarterback keeper gave Trimble the lead 21-14, and then Hooper has a long touchdown run again right here. Tomcats lead at 27-14 at this point. They go on to win 47-21. They advance to the state title game, taking on Macomb on Saturday in Canton. Kickoff at 10 a.m. I'm Noah Wolf, and that's it for sports. Back to you, Caitlin.
All right, thanks, Noah. NASA's InSight lander reached Mars today. The device launched on May 5th and is designed to get an in-depth look at the planet. It will examine the inside of Mars to help answer questions about the solar system. Scientists say they hope to understand the formation and evolution on Mars and other planets. NASA says the InSight mission will last 2 years.
30 degrees tomorrow, chance of snow, cloudy elsewhere. Again, we'll have scattered snow showers all across the area. Winds will be out of the west, at 5 to 10 miles an hour. Make sure you have a jacket as you're going out and about tomorrow, as it will be quite chilly. 29 in Columbus, 29 in Newark, 31 in Cambridge, 31 in New Martinsville, 31 in Marietta, 30s in Ironton and Jackson, with those scattered snow showers all across the area. Extended forecast, look at this weekend warm-up. Friday 49, Saturday 53, and Sunday 53. With rain possible. Caitlin?
All right. Well, that does it for our broadcast this evening. Thanks for joining us. I'm Caitlin Coolidge. You can find the latest news anytime at WOUB.org. Have a great night.